Today's episode of the 10 and 2 podcast is brought to you by Fierce Watches.
Elegantly understated. The ethos from the British watchmaking brand goes far beyond marketing, but extends perfectly into how Fierce timepieces both look and feel. As one of Britain's oldest watch companies, Fierce looks to celebrate their 175th anniversary this year by continuing to perfect the craft of high-quality horology that it had originally set out to do when founded in 1846.
And while the brand may have closed their doors in 1976, the great-great-great-grandson of Fierce founder resurrected Fierce watches in 2016, breathing new life, energy, and inspiration into iconic designs. Fierce continues to proudly hand-build watches in England using intricately detailed and beautifully finished parts, many of which are hand-finished themselves, all leading up to a carefully curated collection of timepieces that are designed to withstand the test of time.
Head over to www.fiercewatches.com to experience what Elegantly Understated is all about. The brand's current lineup includes the Midas, which utilizes a specialty bronze case coated in both rose and yellow gold for a truly unique color, as well as the steel Brunswick, which is currently offered in 3 stunning dial variations. That's www.fiercewatches.com.
Hey everyone, welcome to the 10 and 2 podcast. I'm Kat.
And I'm Catlin.
And we're here every week talking watches, photography, adventure, and exploring the world of horology.
We're back every week talking about it.
We are.
We've been gone.
We've been gone for a little while.
Ooh, man. It's crazy.
You looked at your watch.
I did. Well, because I got a notification.
Oh, your Apple Watch. Okay.
Yeah. Like literally right as we start recording. I'm like, thanks. I've been trying to talk to you for like ever, but I'm glad you can finally message me back as we hit record. So now you can wait.
Yeah. Man, how's your break?
You know, it's the same as every other day. minus the recording of the podcast.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, for me, nothing really changed. Like it was still social media, and then it was still just, you know, I work retail. So like I work through Christmas and New Year's and all of that
for
stuff.
our jobs that we do on the side, or our full-time
jobs,
our regular jobs didn't change.
Yeah.
We just didn't have the podcast, which honestly freed up so much time.
Monday nights were so nice because here's the reality. We record these things like days ahead of time. Like today is Wednesday and we're recording.
Yeah.
And it will be weird. Monday before either of us actually works on this because that's what we do. But, and for me, it'll be Monday night when I get home
this year,
from work.
Remember we said we were going to...
2021. We said that about 2022 and it did not happen.
Well, 2021's off to a pretty awful start.
Oh my gosh. Well, I mean, everything like what happened in Nashville. And it's been crazy.
It has been crazy. I'm glad to hear. I kind of felt the same way, just not having the podcast to edit and do. And for anyone that's ever, thought about starting a podcast, it's not that hard to do. You can honestly do it with almost anything. You have a phone. However, if you want it to sound good, and we are super particular about how our podcast sounds, and it's a lot of work. It's a lot of hours sitting behind the computer. Yeah. And it was nice not to have to do that.
Well, and it's just nice not to have to like plan out content.
Yeah, we didn't do as many Instagram posts, so we weren't like constantly taking pictures, and we took a break, and it was so nice. And I got to read. I said I was going to read. I had to read a lot.
I did not do anything that I said I was going to do. Anything. I don't feel like I said I was going to do a lot. Oh, I think I was going to like really do because
Did you watch anything new over the break?
I watched. What did I watch? I feel like I binge watch things and then like I just forget what they are.
Yeah.
So
they go in and out so fast.
I did watch a few things.
Yeah.
I just don't really.
I watched that Succession show.
Okay.
It's on HBO. So good.
Yeah.
So good.
Okay. I still need to watch that news anchor show.
Yes.
Yeah.
The morning show.
You
do need to watch that. That's Apple TV.
Okay.
Apple TV has quite a few things that are good.
Mm-hmm.
I'm out of stuff now though. Like I literally don't know what I'm gonna watch. I think I'm gonna go back and watch like old shows that are done, so I can just like binge through a bunch of seasons.
You know, Kat, I gotta tell you something.
What?
I hate to be the person who breaks this news to you.
Oh.
But I will now never be able to watch The Office for you.
You know what? I have the DVDs.
Of course
who
you
owns
do.
every DVD of The Office? This
course.
girl.
She's going to start sending them home with me. I come home now with watches and Office DVDs. Kat, my DVD player's broke. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I think I have almost all. I think all but the last couple seasons. It's so much work now. I would have to get one out.
Man, you got to change
And there's
the
only
input on your TV.
There's only like 4 episodes on each DVD, and then it's like,
these are the first world problems of our lives.
But that's what you used to do. You used to buy your show, and yeah, that was my show for a while.
I've tried to explain to Tyler about the olden days of recording something on a VHS player.
Oh
man, like that was some work back in the day before DVR.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man,
yeah, it's crazy. I feel like so much has happened over the last few weeks too.
I feel like a lot has, and
I don't even know where to start.
You just have to keep on going.
Yeah, I guess we'll just go as like we didn't.
Yeah,
nothing happened. We were here the whole time.
Yeah, I mean that, or we're just gonna start getting sad and whatever else with everything that's been going on in the last few weeks. But we're very fortunate. I did want to thank. Speaking of the last few weeks, I did want to thank everybody who reached out after the bombing that was in Nashville. We got so many DMs and things like that, and it is very much so appreciated. Kat and I were not affected in the least bit.
No.
Other than having absolute zero cell phone service for a few days.
It was so weird to me that we had people I had people DMing us and then me personally, and I was like, oh my God, like I'm totally fine. Like, but it was still very, very crazy. I mean, the word we didn't have cell service. Like that was all. Yeah. Like for a few days, it was
cell service, cable, internet.
Yeah. It was.
Yeah. But it was fine. Like,
it was fine.
But I definitely wanted to thank everybody who reached out because that was so sweet.
Very sweet.
Very, very.
People think about us, and that's just, it's heartwarming. It's so heartwarming.
It is heartwarming. But, all right. Let's get into some stuff.
Let's get into it.
I'm just going to wrist check. I'm like so excited about today's wrist check.
Yeah.
But only more for you. I mean, I'm still, so
this is my birthday episode. Today's my birthday.
Happy birthday, Kat. Totally forgot
Today's
about
my
that
birthday. Part. On the 12th, when this episode actually comes out.
When this episode comes out, it's
not
Kat's
really,
birthday.
It's not really my birthday right now.
So I'm just going to go ahead and wrist check really quickly with my Grand Seiko SBGV 245 that I'm still obsessed with. Y'all know if you follow on Instagram, this watch does not leave my wrist. Yeah. But Kat purchased a watch.
That was a really quick word.
Yeah, because nobody cares. They're like, okay, yeah, same watch you've been wearing. Okay, cool story. But Kat has on something new that she purchased months ago and has been so good.
When did I buy this? Was it back in like October?
It was like
September.
Wait, was it? When did
pre-Halloween? This was like September.
Oh yeah,
it was like end of September, I think.
So
I've done
you've
so
been
good.
So good. You like I've seen this on your wrist maybe for 2 seconds at a time, maybe 4 times.
Because I'll show it out. Like I'll pull it out and show you.
Yeah, we want to see it, of course. And nobody knows about it.
Like maybe two people.
Because Kat can't keep her mouth shut. It's fine. So Kat, what did you get for your birthday? What is on your wrist today?
So I have a Rolex Datejust, and this is a brand new 36 millimeter blue dial, fluted bezel, Jubilee bracelet, all the good stuff.
All the things.
All the good stuff. I am really excited about it. It's so good. It's kind of dark in here. It's kind of hard to see the dial, but I love this watch. And if you've been listening to the show for a while, I talked about getting a birth year Datejust.
Right.
And I did. I really wanted one, but I am very hesitant even more now than I used to be about vintage watches. I didn't love the way, my Polar Explorer was patinaing, and I don't necessarily love the work that goes into caring for vintage watches. I do admire them a lot, but I feel like you always have to be careful. And I just wanted something new, and I wanted something that, hey, I'm turning 30. What is something that, I can kind of start a journey with brand new? And I felt like let's just go modern. And I went modern, and I don't regret it one single bit.
No.
It's so good. And that, I don't know if you actually know this. Did we talk about it? So my husband was going to get something engraved on the back for me.
Right.
Because it was kind of like his gift to me. And so I really wanted him to engrave it. We have since decided we're not engraving it.
Okay. I was going to ask because he was also supposed to run the engraving by me.
Yes.
And I have not gotten a text message from him.
Yes, I was going to have him run it by you because I didn't want to know. I wanted to take it in a sealed envelope, drop it off, have them engrave it. And then I was going to actually open it for my birthday just to make it a little bit more special. he had his hesitations because he's like, you're going to flip at this at some point, which I'm not. This is a birthday watch. This is here to stay.
It's a big birthday watch.
He had so much pressure on him. I mean, the man was sweating. I don't think he just could not decide.
Bless his heart.
And so I just told him, I was like, you know what? Don't worry about it. We just won't engrave it. And he like immediately like color came back to his face, I think. So it's fine. And honestly, like, yeah, it would have been nice to have it engraved, but if he was so scared about saying the right thing, and I mean, I'm probably going to be picky about it too, because I don't want, I was telling him it's got to be really short. I don't want a paragraph on the back, blah, blah, blah. And it is a lot of pressure.
It is.
I don't know if I was doing it for him, what I would say, it would be super like stupid simple.
I'm trying to think, like, if I were to engrave a significant other's watch, like, it would have to be, I mean,
I'd just be like, love.
No, because I would want it to be something that, like, that's like us, uniquely us. And like, I'm dorky in relationships.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm just weird, whatever. Yeah. And so then, like, this man's gonna have this like really weird engraving on I think that's how he felt.
Like he was just gonna screw it up somehow. I would
think it was the cutest thing ever, and
you would have approved it.
He'd probably been no. I would have been very, very strict on his. I would have been like no, because I know how much this meant.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of glad, because I was a little worried that if he engraved something silly or like that you didn't like, then like I sort of had a part in it. I'm like, I thought like Boo Boo Bear was so cute. I thought it was sweet, and you're like, I freaking hate you,
I think I would have been okay with almost anything, but the pressure is gone now. No engraving on the back. We'll keep it clean. I'll flip it one day. No, I'm joking. I will not. This watch is here to stay, y'all.
But congratulations.
Thank you.
You've been so giddy about this watch since our trip up there.
It's been so hard to just, like, I've not been wearing, it's been in a watch roll, but it's been put away. It's put away in the safe every day. I get it out to look at it because it's so pretty.
There's no way I could have gone 5 months and just kept it, or 4 months, however long, and kept this in. And Jonathan told you could wear it. And
he did.
I think it was really important to you. And we've had these conversations that, you buy things on a whim sometimes. Mm-hmm. We all do it. We're all guilty of it. And then you fall in love with it because there's no story behind it.
Yeah.
And we've talked on the podcast before, you don't have a watch that you have a story with.
Mm-hmm.
And this gets to be a story.
Yeah,
this is the watch that you got for 30th birthday.
Yeah, I'm so excited. I'm 30, y'all. Big 3-0.
And your knee hurts all the time.
Oh, yeah. So I had a shot in my knee. Like, my back was hurting. I was out for, like, several days.
Wait till the hip, like, gets thrown in there, too. It's the best. And it's always the opposite. So, for me, it's my left knee and my right hip. It's real great. It's a fun time, Kat. You'll really enjoy it.
I'm looking really forward to it.
The gray hairs.
Oh,
I know you see these over here across the table. I know you can see them. Enjoy. Yeah, I got my first gray hair when I was 19 years old.
Well, that's how Jonathan is. Like, since he was a teenager, he's had gray, and he's full gray now.
And it looks hot on men, right? Salt and pepper looks
I think women can pull it off, though. I actually like women that have, like, embraced their gray hair.
I'm not doing it.
No.
I mean, I have more power to women who do it. I have respect for women who do it. At the end of the day, do whatever makes you happy. Yeah. Do whatever you love. I like to not have gray hair, so I need to
that's totally fine.
Color this stuff for reals.
Until you reach the day that you maybe want to embrace it.
I'll get like this long. I have a friend of mine who will call it was it Rogue from X-Men? Yeah, like I
should do that. I love it.
Stop. Kat is so excited.
Streak.
I get like this like gray streak through the front of my
cool.
hair. But then also the rest of my hair.
I feel like it's so different. It's like, I don't know. I think that's really cool.
I'm
not gonna happen.
Yeah. I don't know why we're talking about hair so much. But on that topic, I haven't had a haircut since last March.
Oh, I haven't either. My hair is so long.
All right. Well,
enough
you guys
about
don't care about. We've like lost.
Welcome back to the show.
Remember when we said we had big plans for the podcast? This was it, y'all.
Yeah.
Oh man.
So something big came out yesterday. I'm so confused with my days. I'm sorry.
Doesn't know what's going on.
Very something really big.
Like 2021
started.
Like,
but 2020 started because remember
well, we're going to talk about Speedmaster, y'all. There's nothing else like
Yeah.
we're going to talk about, but I don't think
It's a
anything else
big
came out.
mystery. Everybody's like, oh man, what are they going to talk about?
Because didn't the 321 come out?
Oh, you know
that
what?
was
The
January of
321
last year.
did come out as the first Speedy. I'm
Yeah.
starting to sense a trend where Omega introduces things on the first Speedy Tuesday of every year.
Oh.
Because it was Speedy Tuesday last year.
Interesting. Interesting.
So next year we know that there's something else that will come out.
That's very true.
But
Yeah.
the new moon watches finally came out. These were of like everything else in the world.
So
leaked
that was
online.
like a month ago I saw.
I know. These were leaked online like a month ago. I think it's been expected for a while.
Yeah.
We first saw this 3861 caliber, which is the Meta certified Moonwatch caliber. We first saw it with the 50th anniversary Apollo 11 watch. And so I think once we saw that, it was anticipated that this caliber was going to continue into the standard Moonwatch collection. Everything else Omega has right now for them, every new release, with the exception of like some of the ladies pieces, like the quartz pieces, obviously, and then like the DeVille, like the really thin DeVille Prestige pieces that aren't even in-house. Everything that they've been producing lately has been Meta certified.
Yeah.
So I think it was expected. And, I'm not hating it.
What? Oh, you're not hating it. Okay, I thought you were about to be negative.
No.
Okay.
I'm definitely not hating it. I think that I don't think it's as big of a deal, like as far aesthetically. I don't think there's a whole lot of changes based off of photos. Now, allegedly, these are going to start being available fairly quickly.
So crazy. But I'm so
allegedly.
happy. Oh, well, that's true.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
So we don't know for
Don't
sure.
take our word for it.
Yeah. We'll see.
Somebody's going to walk in their AD be like, Kat and Catlin said they were available. Where are they? Well, I'm glad you like them. And I agree with you in the fact that from photos and obviously descriptions, there's not a lot different about it. But I think and people complain about this with the Submariner line too, there's not these incredible changes, but you don't want to see that they're classic watches as is. You don't want a drastic change.
Agree. That was my concern. Once these rumors, because I've been hearing rumors of like the current Moonwatch being discontinued for months before like there was any sort of leak. I've heard this, and I'm like, well, I mean, it's such an iconic watch.
Yeah,
and
you don't want to do that.
Can't. There's no way the brand's totally getting rid of it or totally changing it. So some of the aesthetic changes is first of all the case. It's a different case design. So the case is actually modeled after the 4th generation Speedmaster Professional, which was the ST for you vintage experts. Was the ST 105.102, but this is the actual case design that was worn by the Apollo 11 astronauts.
Yeah.
What's cool about this for people who aren't into vintage watches is, yes, it's still the same case size. It's still 42 millimeters in diameter, but the lug to lug measurement on this case is shorter. I don't have the exact measurement, but I do know that it's a shorter lug to lug. So for a lot of you guys who are, and girls who are a little bit more concerned about a watch fitting on the wrist and fitting properly, this definitely gives you that option of maybe if you were borderline before, then this is going to be a much better fit for you.
Yeah.
Plus you have the tapered bracelet. It's a totally new bracelet design. So it's a 5-link bracelet now. It tapers down. You have a new clasp from Omega as well. Again, for the vintage nuts, you have the dot over 90 bezel, which take it or leave it.
That doesn't matter to me.
I don't.
It's cool, but it makes no difference to me.
Yeah.
I like, it's sentimental to a lot of people. I think, oh man, I love the bracelet so much. I know you were like really hesitant on it.
Let's talk about the bracelet for a second.
Okay.
So we know how hard it is to get an exact fit on a Speedmaster, right?
Yes.
There's no half link.
Almost
on the
any
current
watch, really.
But on the current Moonwatch, there's no half link. It's only full links. And then there's 2 small little micro adjustments in the clasp. And it looks like this is the exact same. And this is probably the only thing I'm not a fan. It's not that I'm not a fan of. I think that the bracelet in person will look absolutely amazing. But I think that they could have done the micro adjust clasp.
Yeah.
The micro adjustment clasp that Omega has been doing lately on literally every single.
Do they have it on any Speedmaster models? I wonder.
On all of the racing, like the new
They put it on the racing models?
the new moon phase models.
Yeah, it's not.
Those
That's
all
not a
have
good
a
sign.
micro adjustment clasp.
Yeah.
So hopefully, maybe this at least has a half link. I know for me, like I sacrifice on my moon watch. My moon watch is either too tight or way too big all the time.
Yeah. And then you only have 2 little micro adjust from the pictures, at least from what we're seeing.
Yeah.
It's like, goodness, on a lot of watches, you get at least 4 or 5 of those.
Yeah.
And you just get 2. I mean, that's not a lot. It's not a lot of room for error. And yeah, I was a little disappointed, especially at this price point. You want something that, I mean, I get it. It's not a dive watch. They don't want to put it there, but hopefully we haven't seen these in the metal. I don't think anyone's had it in the metal.
Hodinkee just got them the day of release.
Oh, really? I haven't I haven't read their review on it yet.
I think that they posted live pictures later on in the day.
Okay.
I don't think they had them the morning of.
Okay. Gotcha. Well, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if there's any sort of like, like little extension in there or not.
Yeah. So one thing you just brought up is price. So I think that a lot of people are shocked by the increase in price. I think so. There's still the 2 basic models. You have the Hesselite crystal, you have the sapphire crystal. It's $1,000 price increase on the Hesselite crystal and an $800 on the sapphire crystal.
Yeah.
How do you feel about the new price on it?
I mean, I think it's in line with what they're doing, with what Omega's doing right now. So it doesn't surprise me at all.
Yeah.
I don't love it, but also like, I think they're trying to inch up where they stand as a brand. So it was expected.
Yeah.
I didn't expect anything different, I guess.
Yeah.
I knew there was going to be a big price increase. Everyone's doing a price increase right now, by the way. Like across any brand that's Swiss made, I'm seeing, just price increases across the board. And Omega's trying to put themselves up closer to where Rolex is. And we've seen that with all the models they released recently.
Well,
so.
and I mean, I will say it's a justified price increase. It's not like they took the same watch and then increased it by $800.
Well, this watch is going to
have the new movement.
It's going to be readily available. And a lot of people know you can get a big discount at a lot of dealers. So
yeah.
I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah, I think it was anticipated, especially with the new movement.
The gold model surprised me a little bit.
The gold,
it hurt.
y'all.
It hurt a little.
I am trying to. I made this joke earlier, and y'all don't come at me. Like it really is just a joke. But I literally was like, "How many feet pics could I sell to get $38,000 to buy the Sedna gold?"
What at the
watch?
OnlyFans?
Yes, yes. I like. Man,
you could probably do a week worth of feet pics. I think
I've had a pedicure in a long time, so probably not.
They probably like it like that. I don't know.
No. Oh, gross. Okay. So on top of the steel versions, Omega also finally branched out and did some solid gold versions of the moon watch. So that's what Kat and I are just talking about, and they are by far my favorite.
They're so pretty.
I'm obsessed.
Both of them are pretty.
Cannot get enough of it.
Yeah.
So you have an 18 karat Sedna gold model, and then you have
black dial.
Yeah,
oh, it looks so good.
So good. And these come on a bracelet, which can you imagine? Because these are still NASA certified. Can you imagine being the astronaut who goes to show up for your space shuttle mission, and you're wearing a solid gold Speedmaster on the NASA Velcro strap?
Yeah.
Baller AF. That would be me.
Yeah, why not?
I'm broke. Man, I mean, absolutely amazing. And then there's the Canopus Gold, which is Omega's version of white gold.
Yeah.
That has the silver dial, which is beautiful.
It's so beautiful.
And the black bezel.
I'm not a white gold fan. I mean, really, I'm not a gold fan in general. But yeah, I do love that dial on the white gold. I probably would never. I would go for the Sedna gold version if I had to, if I had the money to.
Okay. Well, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, it's just it looks so good. Oh,
I do. And so I believe, if I remember reading it correctly, that the white gold one is a boutique exclusive.
Oh, really? Okay.
I mean, it's also a solid white gold piece. So, I wanted to address this because somebody was asking me earlier.
Yeah.
The difference in the price. So, there's a $10,000 price increase in the white gold versus the Sedna gold. And so the reason for that is because for Omega's the only company that uses all precious metals in their white gold. So if you don't know a lot about gold and the way that it's blended, you blend it with other materials to make it more stable, to make it more practical, things like that.
Yeah.
So with the cannabis gold, it uses palladium, platinum, gold, and rhodium, which are some of the more expensive materials. And that's why. And the reason for that is, first of all, for the brightness. Palladium's one of the brightest metals that you can find. So it's super bright, but then also you don't have to, it doesn't patina the way standard white gold does. You don't have to have it re-rhodium plated. You don't have to buff out patina, anything like that.
Yeah.
So for those of you who were wondering, because I've gotten quite a few DMs about it, that is the reason why. But
very cool.
Either way, I'm more likely to buy the stainless steel model.
Yeah, of course.
So.
I do really like it. And honestly, like, I've never been really attracted to just the plain old Speedmaster, and I kind of like this one. That bracelet really ups it a lot for me. Oh, and the clasp is really
the clasp is good. And this will be my if there's no micro-jest on this clasp, because this clasp is one of the coolest looking clasps that I've ever seen.
Love that Omega logo on there, the lines.
It's so sexy. Like, it's an amazing,
very vintage inspired too.
Man.
Yeah.
And if there's no micro-adjustment,
it's gonna be a bummer.
Straight up. But it looks like, so I bet with this bracelet, because it is more vintage inspired, I bet the links are pretty small. So I think that you could probably get a better fit. I'm not saying it'll be a perfect fit, but
yeah,
it's better. We'll see.
Perhaps,
I'm hoping they actually are going to be in stores fairly soon.
Yeah, I'm actually
because
really
I would
excited.
really like to be able to see them. I'd like to be able to see them, especially while the current moon watches are available too, so that like we can see them side by side.
So yeah.
Well, so there's no like easy way to transition these topics. Today's podcast was going to be on one particular topic that Kat and I have been talking about quite a bit.
Yeah.
But then Omega released these new moon watches, so of course we had to talk about them. And that is going to be ambassadors and like watch brands that use ambassadors and why they do it and if it even works.
Yeah.
So I think it's an interesting topic because we see so many different watch brands do it. We see different watch brands do it in different ways. And honestly, like, obviously it's not just watches. Everyone does it. And I think this really kind of stemmed, we did what was that Instagram post?
Well, I think we did a story a while back on our Instagram, and we asked people if it mattered, if an ambassador made or break a watch brand for them. I don't remember what the results were.
Overwhelmingly, no, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But also we're asking a bunch of watch people, and we'll
That's
get into this kind of like spin off of the topic too. But then like we asked, after that, what are some of your more iconic ambassadorships at that point, and even non-watch related. And there are tons of sponsors and things like that for non-watch related things that we instantly go to. I will always know Michael Jordan with Nike, always.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people can relate to that. It's probably one of the best marketed shoes realistically. But yeah, it's just an interesting topic, especially because we see so many watch brands do it.
Well, we get asked all the time about these ambassadors and what we think about them, and if we like them, if we think it works, and everyone's a little different. I don't know, like, what are your thoughts? Do they work for you?
I don't think they work for me really in any topic. So it's easy to say because I'm into watches, of course they don't work for me because I see
you know about it.
Yeah. You know the products, whatever. For me, when I see a picture, I'm looking at the watch first and then whoever's wearing it, whatever. But I think even outside of watches, they don't work for me, but I think that it really is more my personality. I've never been like a big starstruck kind of person ever. Like I see people, I've gone out with people, and it's never been a big deal. So that's just like me. That being said, Dolly Parton's an exception, y'all. Like I'll cry like a 6-year-old. But yeah, like, so it's not that big of a deal for me. For me, what works it is a story behind something. So, I don't necessarily believe in the people who advertise it, but the way that it's advertised and the story that the advertisement puts forward, that's a little bit more like towards me. What about you? Like, how do you feel about it?
Yeah, I'm the same way. I don't think that I've ever wanted to buy a watch because of a brand ambassador or any other product for that matter.
Yeah.
I think they help sometimes and they bring awareness to me that I might not have had if it wasn't a celebrity behind it.
Yeah.
For instance, I think about this Johnny Depp commercial for his cologne.
His cologne,
He's like in
yes.
the desert. Every time I'm like, I want to go buy that for my husband. Like I want him to smell like Johnny
Depp. I just
Depp.
want to smell it.
Yeah.
Like,
It probably smells like cigarettes and alcohol, but I don't care. Like I just want like what does Johnny Depp smell like? But I see that and I'm just like it does make me again, it brings in awareness. I don't even know the brand now.
No, I have no idea.
But or like, Lincoln and Matthew McConaughey. I'm talking about guys. I know there's a beautiful the perfume ads are first of all, they're always like so ridiculous. But there's one of like Julia Roberts and she's like walking into this like ballroom and there's like a ton of people and of course everyone spreads like the Red Sea and she walks in the middle. And I'm like, I want to go buy that perfume. Like, it makes you want to smell good. I don't know why. I think the perfume ads get to me more. And nowadays, I don't even watch television. I haven't watched television in years, so I don't even see those ads unless it pops up on a YouTube. By the way, freaking Longines, they have taken over all my YouTube ads. I don't know if they've done that for you lately, but every single one is Longines. Y'all are spending some crazy money on YouTube ads. But no, and when I think about ambassadors, I think about again, the stories. I used to flip through National Geographic when I was a kid. My dad had a ton of magazines. And I love those Rolex ads that had an explorer and he was on a mountain and, he was climbing and he had a Rolex on the wrist. And that's what gets me is that kind of story. It doesn't even have to be a celebrity. Nowadays, it kind of comes in a different format. I like celebrities wearing watches in movies, like Daniel Craig wearing his Bond watch in 007. It makes me want that watch. Yes, he's a brand ambassador, but separately.
But I think if you want a little bit of anything. Like
makes you want to take hold of that character.
Yeah, people see. I've bought clothing because in a movie it was featured. I've bought bags or whatever because of that. So I think that that's a little bit different.
But in a movie or in a show, you get like this whole story behind it. In a commercial or in a paper magazine ad, you just don't get that, and so it doesn't sell it for me as much.
Well, so are they even necessary anymore? Because when you really look at it, like it seems like lifestyles sell better than celebrities. So even go through Instagram right now, go through every major watch brand, and very rarely is it now in the stories it'll be celebrity stuff, but the actual posts are very rarely. Here's our watch ambassador wearing this watch, doing something that nobody actually does in real life, sitting on this yacht, whatever. But you see flat lays with lifestyles. You see people wearing dive watches in the ocean and by the pool and things like that. Like I will never forget the day that Omega over the summer did actual posts with the diver 300 meter on a woman's wrist, just chilling by the pool and swimming in the pool. And to me, that is what really speaks to me.
Yeah.
And I think that speaks to so many other people because you can see that brands are doing that more and more.
Well, and I think that if they had put say Lady Gaga in that, or no, Lady Gaga's tutor, if they had put
but either way,
a celebrity in there, right? I think people would have just immediately said, oh, she's being paid to wear that watch.
Yeah.
Rather than it's an unknown, it's a model and not their faces weren't even in that picture. Like it's, you take it a little bit differently. Now that your point is good. And I also think that while we don't need those celebrities in the actual ads in the magazine or on Instagram on their profile, I think celebrities are also advertising the watches in a different way. They're wearing them on the red carpet. They're wearing them at games. They're wearing them playing sports. And fans see them doing that, and then that makes them want them. I think there's also a big thing in I believe in age and how they're affected by advertising and ambassadors. I think the really young teenager group, young adult, is going to be really influenced by it. And I think the older crowd, like my mom, she sees these celebrities wearing stuff and she is completely bought out by the ads.
My mom still buys every gossip magazine at the newsstand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If Oprah says to go buy something, my mom wants to go buy it. She's very influenced by that. And I think there's this middle age group that we're a little bit more skeptical to as far as that. And everyone's personality personality is different. And I'm really excited to get some feedback from this episode to see what other people think. But yeah, so when we're talking about these ambassadors, is there anybody that sticks out to you in your mind that I know you said you're not really affected by them, but is there anyone that you are affected by?
No.
Or that you think that is a good partnership with the brand?
Yeah, so I think there are definitely brands that do it really well. I think, again, for me, it's more the story behind it. So, I mean, when we talk about an actual physical ambassador, George Clooney and Omega.
Yeah.
So George Clooney has been affiliated with Omega for a long time now, but it's something to me that when I look at his advertisements, or when I hear his interviews, when I see like the footage of events and stuff like that, it's not just because of a paid thing. Like he's talked very openly about always being a fan of NASA and the space race and all of those sorts of things. I know that he goes to like a lot of the Omega NASA events. So I think that like the fact that he's really well tied into that culture makes him a great fit, but then he's able to tell a genuine story. And I think, again, you were talking about people who are skeptical and kind of critical, and I'm very critical. I'm just, they're just getting paid, whatever. But I think that that's something that to me, it stands out, even so much so that he ultimately like designed his own watch with Omega and had his own little limited edition, which was a super cool piece too.
Definitely. I actually read that George Clooney, I think he was given a Speedmaster in 1969 or 70 when we went to the moon. Like his uncle gave him one or something. And that sparked his interest when he was a kid. And I do. I like that. I like his partnership a lot. And I think he makes a lot of sense for Omega just because he's passionate about the brand. Yeah. And behind him, even, he had a relationship when he was a kid with the brand.
Yeah.
And so when you hear that about some of these celebrities and their connections, and a lot of times we don't know because they just don't, the brand, for some reason, I wonder why they don't advertise this.
Yeah.
Like I remember I had to I read that in an article, but you wouldn't find that on Omega's website.
Yeah.
Like that you should embrace that there is a story behind it. He's not just being paid to wear your watch. But he's a really good one. That's awesome. I like him. He's been their ambassador for a while. I don't even know how long.
Yeah, I don't know either. Maybe? Something like that.
I feel like it's been a while.
Yeah.
10 years at least.
Yeah. But like you said, I think that they should really embrace that and lean more into that, especially with like this new Moonwatch launching. Like I think that's a great way to embrace it. Another favorite of mine, I really like come at me, y'all. I can't wait.
No judgment.
I really like how Richard Mille does. You're laughing at me. You're like,
I'm laughing, but I agree with
no
you.
Judgment. Yeah.
I agree.
Fucking crazy lady. Freaking crazy lady. Sorry. Yeah. I mean, and again, not because of the celebrities. Like, yeah, they have some crazy celebrity endorsements. Some of my favorite, like one of my favorite actresses is a celebrity ambassador for them. But it's not because of that.
The Australian girl?
Yeah.
Damn, what's her name? Wolf on Wall Street. I can't think of her name.
Margot Robbie.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I absolutely love Margot Robbie. She's a phenomenal actress. But it's not because of that. And it's not because all of these athletes wear it. But it's because these watches are worn by these athletes during their competitions, during their sports. So we've talked before about Rafael.
Is it Rafael?
Yeah,
I never.
Rafael Nadal.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just say Nadal because I don't know how to say his first name.
All right. We've spoken on the podcast about Rafael Nadal several times that he wears a Richard Mille tourbillon while he plays tennis.
Yeah.
And to me, it's a cool looking watch. I love Richard Mille. Again, come at me. I don't care, y'all. But I think that for me as a watch enthusiast, knowing how complicated tourbillons are and how sensitive those movements are.
Yeah.
The fact that I can see this watch being worn playing tennis is freaking amazing. You see these Formula One drivers wearing these watches while driving, and that's a lot of vibration.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, I mean, as an extra little bonus, so Richard Mille has the RM Racing team, which included this year the first ever all-female team at the LMP2 category of Le
How
Mans.
about that? Very
And
cool.
so, like, I thought that was cool too. Like, for me, like, that speaks to me.
Mhm.
And again, I just, not to do with any particular person, but just because of what they do.
Yeah, I think when brands get behind things that we're a little bit more passionate about, those stories in itself and that is what inspires us to want to buy the watch more than the celebrity or anything like that.
Exactly.
I agree. That's cool.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. It was super cool.
And it's funny. It's like Nadal's out there playing with it on, and I don't think maybe he has, Roger Federer. I don't think that he doesn't wear Rolex when he's playing. I know they give it to him after the game, but like I don't usually see him wearing it during the game. I could be wrong though, because I don't completely watch
because
it.
golfers take their watches off.
Sometimes now I do see some that wear it.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Because usually I see that watch come out during an awards.
I've seen some wear them on the green.
But then Oris. I think Oris is another example. Again, for the same reason, like it has nothing to do with an ambassador. It has to do with stories and causes. Oris has some of the most amazing causes. I'm a big proponent of the saving the ocean, saving marine life, things like that.
Yeah.
And Oris always
and
just
a lot
has
of these
amazing
brands have that. They're just not like
vocal about it.
Rolex does some amazing things with explorers in our environment, and for some reason, they just don't push it. They don't put it out there. I know they don't have to. They don't need anything to help them, sell their brand. Yeah. But I think that, I would love to see more of it, more of the push of that. Especially why don't you post that on your Instagram page?
Yeah.
It's something as simple as that. Just let people know that you are, you're putting your money towards a great cause. But yeah. I mean, that's cool.
Well, so what about for you? Like, what are some standouts for you?
This was hard. I think we talked about this. It's just it's hard picking one because we're not super influenced by them. And these that I picked, like you, I'm not really influenced by. I think they're great partnerships. And for me, it was Bear Grylls and Luminox. So Bear Grylls is, man versus wild. I think this watch is it's military, it's tactical. This brand is. It's a perfect blend for who Bear Grylls is. I think it's just the partnership goes together so well. He's out there freaking doing the most crazy things, and I think the watch. I mean, it's a great partnership between them two. Another one, I had Daniel Craig. I don't know if he's actually an ambassador or if he wears the watch because of the movies.
I think he's an actual ambassador for the brand.
He is an ambassador. Well, I've seen him wear Rolex, so I don't. I didn't know. And there may be that's another thing is are they allowed to wear other? I don't think they're supposed to, but it happens.
I have some stuff to talk about in our next
because David Beckham wears Rolex all the time.
Why
but
are you stealing all my notes that I'm talking about later, lady?
I'm sorry.
Jesus.
This is what I had written down. But he wears Tudor, which Tudor and Rolex are kind of sister brands. So maybe it's not as big of a deal for them.
Yeah.
But Rolex and Omega, that's a big deal. So I wouldn't say Omega would be okay with that, but he's done it. So anyway, I like not the ads itself, but the movies. Every time I watch a Bond movie, I'm like, I want to go buy that watch. I just do. It's just so cool. I mean, and it's gadgety and I just love it. I just love everything about it. I didn't really have a whole lot on my list other than that. And I had, so I like Rolex's partnership with directors. They work with Martin Scorsese, James Cameron, which James Cameron's done a lot of crazy stuff with the bottom of the ocean and conservation and stuff like that, or exploration, I should say. And I think that the partnership with the directors is kind of cool because I'm a big movie buff and I like seeing watches in movies, and it's the partnership with Hamilton in Hollywood and this with Rolex. And then, there's directors like Sofia Coppola that works with Cartier and she puts them in a lot of her movies. I like that partnership. It makes me it just makes me giddy and happy. Mm-hmm. And I love seeing those in the movies, but I think both of us are we're not naming actual ambassadors because it doesn't work for us.
Yeah, it's not. And I know people that it does work for, and that's great. But again, I think that it really is a difference in because we're in this hobby. Ambassadors work. Clearly they work because brands still do it. And you have to have somebody who
you can't name anything right now outside of anything in any category that you're I want to go buy because a celebrity wears it or has it. So. I can't think of anything.
But I'm just, like I said, I'm not that type of person. There's nothing wrong with it. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But I've never been an oh my gosh, it's a celebrity kind of person. Yeah, because we're just... I don't know if there's any celebrity that I'm just crazy about. If I was a super fan of maybe an athlete or something and they wore something, I might want it because of that. But I really just can't think of anybody that I'm that way with. I definitely am much more on the actual marketing concept and not who is marketing it. Mm-hmm. marketing concepts that are different to me, stand out to me.
Yeah.
For example, the Hodinkee limited edition Grand Seiko.
Yeah.
That was an entirely different marketing concept than Hodinkee had ever done before. It focused on family man. It focused on families of color. And that was something that was very different, and it stood out. I think that if they had done it the way that they, that a lot of brands do, it wouldn't have really struck as big of a chord. Like it would have just been like, oh yeah, this is a cool watch.
Yeah.
But once you see a story, you have this father and his son, and like I feel like that the story behind it is what really made that watch stand out to me. And I think it's the same thing with any advertising. I can't tell you who wore it, but I can tell you how it was worn. I can tell you, what the ad looks like and things like that. And I think that's just the much more important thing. And I think you have a lot of watch brands who are starting to realize that. And if we're being honest, there's a risk in having celebrity ambassadors, right? There's a risk in having anybody be an ambassador of yours.
Yeah.
For random example, Tiger Woods years and years and years ago when he went through, his whole thing.
Actually, I read that Rolex picked him up right after all that happened.
Yeah, but not even just watch ambassadors, but in general, like having anybody as an ambassador. Like if they make a mistake that, first of all, us regular people, are very prone to make, and nobody cares if we do it, but if other people do it,
celebrities do it.
So you have
on the news for a week.
With Omega, you had Presley Gerber for Omega, who was a very prominent Omega ambassador, and 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago, he got a DUI. Again, I'm not condoning it. Like, I don't believe in that, but it's something that I have a lot of friends who have had them. But Omega got a ton of backlash for shortly after he got a DUI.
Is he still an ambassador?
I think that he is, but he probably, I think the whole Cindy Crawford family is, but they, he's just kind of taken I don't know.
Yeah.
Whatever. I haven't seen a lot, but I remember Omega making this post of him in a swimming pool, and they got a lot of backlash for it. There was a lot of comments about it.
I think that's going to happen. I think, I think a lot of people are influenced by these younger celebrities, models, things like that. I think they don't work for us. One that comes to mind is, Lady Gaga. She does not fit into Tudor's brand by any means, this conservative brand. But they picked her up. And since then, she's kind of helped put Tudor back on the map. Younger people are looking at the brand because it's freaking Lady Gaga.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, yes, you have David Beckham, who's a, worldwide superstar, but in a different kind of way, in a sports way. Yeah, you get those guys that are just super fans. David Beckham is not selling watches to women. Sorry.
But also outside of Tudor ads, I've never seen David Beckham wear Tudor. So
yeah, I honestly, most of the time I see him wearing Rolex. It is what it is. But and I've never seen Lady Gaga outside of anything wearing a Tudor either. Yeah. So they're clearly just being paid by. But I'm just saying that it is helpful for brands to branch out and take those risks because it brings more people. Omega is very classy and elegant, and having someone young like him, it definitely helped bring that younger audience into the brand, even though they are taking a risk because they're young and they're stupid and like we all are.
Yeah.
It seems to work. Is there anybody that you can think of as we're kind of getting close to the end here that you just feel as a terrible? It was really hard.
I can't think of anybody who was just terrible.
Yeah.
I think it's a little different when we're into watches because when I see these ads and then I see somebody wearing not that watch in real life. I think
when I said that, a lot of people hate on Lady Gaga being on they're disgusted by it. I don't know why. Just people, there's haters. You don't have to like her.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably going to be the case with anything that you're going to get from this question.
Yeah.
I shouldn't even wrote it down, to be honest with you.
Well, so another interesting topic is you have brands that have long-term ambassadors, and it doesn't seem like many brands have that.
Yeah.
And I have a lot more respect when I can tell somebody is a long-term ambassador versus, they're with the brand for 2 years because they have a contract.
Yeah.
They make X amount of dollars and then that's it. I think Cindy Crawford, again, is one of the longest ambassadors that I can think of for a watch brand.
Definitely.
I think she started with Omega. So she did that interview with Hodinkee. Did you hear
I
that
listened to
podcast
some
interview?
of it. I haven't finished it.
Yeah, so she started with Omega in the 90s and is still an ambassador.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
Yeah, I think that's super cool because, and even, you could tell from her interviews, she wasn't super into watches from a mechanic standpoint. To her, they're things of beauty, and there's nothing wrong with that. But she still had a passion for, for the watch in and of itself.
Yeah, I just wonder with these higher end celebrities, they're still very much in the spotlight, so they're gonna go wherever the money is.
Yeah.
That's just kind of the way of the world. But ones that have more of a partnership, have more of a meaningful relationship with the brand itself, like George Clooney, for example, he's going to stick with Omega because he has there's a story there, and I don't know. I feel bad saying that, but that's just kind of like, I'm not going to take it back.
Okay,
I put it out there. I said it.
All right. So I think this wraps up for the ambassadors, but there's more.
Oh, there's more?
There's just like a teaser of more.
Okay.
We got something.
Oh, yeah, we did.
In the mail.
Speaking of.
Y'all, we got something really cool. And so next week is dedicated to this watch and the story behind it. So from Omega, and thank you so much to Omega for sending this to us, we have the 50th anniversary Snoopy watch in for review. So we're so excited. We've been like fangirling over this watch since we got it in the mail. So next Tuesday we're gonna have a special episode, and then we're gonna do a watch review on Friday, which I'm excited because there's been some really cool watch reviews that have come out of people having this watch. So obviously you have the main, Hodinkee and all of them, of course, had it. I know Teddy Baltazar just did a video pretty recently on it, and
I think he actually had it right before us.
Yeah.
So we got it from Teddy, which is kind of nice. Thanks, Teddy.
So super excited. I cannot wait.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to nerd out. Like,
we're so going to nerd out. If you don't like Omega and you don't like Speedmasters, don't listen to next week's episodes. Bye. We'll see you the next week.
We'll see you the week after.
No hard feelings.
Yeah. Sorry, not sorry, but we're gonna nerd out for a little bit.
Yeah.
So, super excited, but I think that wraps us up. So Kat forgot the intro before we started recording. So now I'm trying to remember. Be sure to head over to our website, www.tennand2.com for show notes. We'll put some links to some of the podcasts, things like that we had talked about on this episode. Make sure you're following along on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube, and Twitter at Tenant and 2 Media. And I think that's all, y'all.
That's it.
All right. Have a good one. We're glad to be back.
Yeah.
And we will talk to you guys soon.
Bye.
Bye.